Alright, peace and blessings, Galactic family. It's your boy, Omni, Amanashi, Shrizzle Hood. We back at it again, man. This is Omni Vision EDU, and today we're gonna be touching on a new subject matter of cellular biology, okay? And we're gonna be talking about identity. And this is a sequel to the last joint that I did, the RH negative versus RH positive bloodlines. Okay, so we'll be using cellular biology and looking through the lens of science to discover true identity. So I hope you guys are ready because it's time to get to it. Alright, so we back to it, family. Alright, so my thesis is blood type can only be determined by chemical and cellular composition, understanding that these are the smaller things that constitute larger things. Okay, so blood is a byproduct of the cells, all right? Cell biology is the study of cell structure and function. It revolves around the concept that the cell is the fundamental unit of life. Focusing on the cell permits a detailed understanding of the tissues and organisms which cells compose, right? Okay, and why is this so? Because cells, in regards to identity, cells are the prior stage of atomic and molecular transformation before the materialization of bodily tissues, all right? Okay, cells combine to form bodily tissues such as skin, your muscles, your bones, etc. Other groups of cells go on to form parts of the body such as the heart, the lungs, and the liver. Okay, so in other words, you are your cells in an evolved, matured state. All humans begin the early stages of the evolutionary life cycle as sperm and egg cells. In the studies of cellular biology, there are four main components to blood cells. There are WBC, white blood cells, RBC, red blood cells, blood platelets, and blood plasma. Okay, these are different categories of blood cells, or different groups of cells. Okay, now white blood cells are leukocytes. Leukocyte etymologically translate as leuk in Greek, which means white, and cyte in Greek, which means cell. So leukocytes are white cells, and dark cells are actually hemoglobins, or another word for them are melanocytes. Melis etymologically translates as melis for black or dark, and cyte in Greek, which means cell. So dark cell. Whites are white because of leukocyte dominancy, and blacks are dark because of melanocyte dominancy or hemoglobin dominancy. Unlike red blood cells, WBCs lack hemoglobin, which allows red blood cells to deliver oxygen and nutrients to tissues. White blood cells are acidic, fungal, bacterial-based cells, toxin cells. Okay, like I said, it is actually an infection of the blood, which is the result of the antigens present in the DNA. Okay, brothers and sisters, so blood type, right? Blood type is determined by the presence of antigens. Okay, so A blood types possess A antigens, B antibodies. B blood types possess B antigens, A antibodies. Okay, AB blood types possess A and B antigens, so they have no antibodies. All right, and the O blood type has two antibodies. Antibodies are DNA proteins which synthesize autoimmune self-defense against foreign objects and substances of the blood. Antibodies are naturally occurring antibiotics, right? Which consist in the blood plasma. These are human DNA markers. Just wanted to specify that. Antigens are primate DNA markers, okay? Animal DNA markers. And this is my thesis. This is the clear indication of hybridization. Antigens are alleles. A blood types possess an allele. B antigens are present in B blood types, which is also an allele. O blood type does not possess any alleles. Again, alleles are antigens. Allele, one of two or more alternative forms of a gene that arise by mutation and are found at the same place on the chromosome. Genetic hybrid is the process of crossbreeding individuals from genetically distinct populations to produce a hybrid. A hybrid would therefore carry two alleles, right? A hybrid is also the byproduct of two pre-existing species. Each pair of alleles represents the genotype of a specific gene. Genotype meaning gene type. Genotype is described as homozygous if there are two identical alleles at a particular point or locus of a chromosome, such as the A positive, A negative blood type group, which are both A positive and negative because of the presence of the A antigen, or the B positive, B negative blood type group, which are both B positive or negative because of the presence of the B antigen. Okay? Homozygous genotypes are of the same blood type group antigens. Genotype is described as heterozygous if there are two alleles that differ. If there are two alleles that differ, an example of that would be the AB blood type group, because they have two alternative forms of a gene, which is the antigen. They have two alternative forms of antigens, which is the A antigen and the B antigen. So these individuals would be described as the heterozygous genotypes. Both A and B blood group antigens are alleles, but yet differ as male and female DNA markers. Alleles are indicators of the Rh factor, or the rhesus monkey factor. Alleles also contribute to the phenotype of an organism. The observable characteristics. Phenotype from Greek. Phoneme, meaning to show. Typos in Greek, meaning type, is the composite of a living organism's observable characteristics, such as morphology, development, biochemical and physiological makeup, behavior, as well as products of behavior. So everything that's associated with this organism is due to the constituents that make up this organism. So blood type should never be confused in determining true identity. All blood types are associated with a genotype. Okay, blood type is genotype, which is associated with one's phenotype. Genotype meaning gene type, phenotype meaning physical type. Examples of genotype and phenotype are the genotype is the set of characteristics in our DNA which is responsible for specific traits. The phenotype is the outward expression of those physiological traits. Blood type, genotype, and phenotype are all methodological means to determine biological identity. This is something we most definitely want to keep in mind in considering the ABO blood group system and cellular biology. Specific DNA markers are present in specific blood type groups. Rh negative, meaning rhesus monkey negative, are the original human species. These are 100% humans. They possess no animal DNA markers, no alleles, no antigens in their DNA. The A, B, and AB bloodlines are new subhuman bloodlines. These are hybrid subspecies. A species is often defined as a largest group of organisms in which two individuals of the appropriate sexes can successfully reproduce fertile offspring. A species is also defined as a group of organisms who share common characteristics. A species is also defined as a group of organisms who share genetic heritage. Subspecies biology, a taxonomic category that ranks below species. Taxonomy is the process of naming and categorizing things such as humans, animals, and plants into a group with a larger system according to their differences and similarities. Okay, so Rh negatives are the original human species. There's no such thing as race. There's only species of organisms, and human is a species of organisms. Okay? White blood cells, WBCs, also known as leukocytes, are toxin cells, antigenic cells. Okay? The name white blood cell derives from the physical appearance of a blood sample after centrifugation. Leukocytes, aka WBC high white blood cell count, typically results in low pigmented or pale skin. Leukemia is a cancer of blood forming tissue which hinders the body's ability to fight against infections. Hence the word leukocyte, leukemia. And this is from the white blood cells, WBCs. Melanocytes, on the other hand, are melanin-producing cells, okay? Electromagnetically conductive cells. Physical objects absorb and reflect sunlight strictly based upon chemical composition. Melanin is a group of natural pigments found in most organisms in nature. Melanin acts as a shield against UVB radiation. It's what allows an organism to withstand the natural environment. These are protein cells and is associated with color, with pigment, and is also associated with electromagnetic conduction. Bioelectromagnetics, also known as bioelectromagnetism, is the study of the interaction between the electromagnetic field and biological entities. Areas of study include electrical and magnetic fields produced by living cells, tissues, and organisms. The cell membrane conducts electromagnetic energy, and electrical current begins to flow through nerves, muscles, and tissues, allowing individuals to do extraordinary things. This is where your goats come from, the greatest of all time. These guys are phenomenal athletes. And it's because of their biological makeup. A fuel cell is an electrical chemical cell that converts the chemical energy from a fuel into electricity through an electrical chemical reaction of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so keep that in mind when we look at the structure of hemoglobins and Rh negatives who possess no white blood cells, no leukocytes, no toxin cells, only RBCs, okay? And that's what the RBCs are composed of. This oxygen producing substance or molecule with iron. So iron and oxygen is what makes up the properties of hemoglobins or myoglobins. And Rh negatives only produce myoglobins, hemoglobins, RBCs, melanocytes, only conductive cells. Okay. Rh negatives only possess electromagnetic conductive cells. Okay. Why is blood important, black people? Because blood is a biochemical fuel. DNA are biological ingredients to producing a specific phenotype. The iron in our blood is a ferromagnetic liquid. Okay. Ferro meaning iron, magnetism. Ferromagnetism is the mechanism by which materials such as iron form permanent magnets. Okay, so we are interacting with the sunlight, Rh negatives, because we're naturally occurring. We are interacting with the sunlight in a harmonious way, And that's all through the means of transferred energy, which is transmitted from the sun, because the sun is an electromagnetic power source. Okay, and we receive these electrical signals from the sun magnetically from our iron-based blood cells. Okay, and so this is the means in which we adapt and we interact with the environment and with nature and with the sun, which is the center of this solar systematic operation. Okay, and so it just shows, like I said in the last video, chemical compatibility to the natural system. You know, people of color, melanated people, we fit the bill of Rh negative more than any other group.